Welcome to the Leverage Show. This is Brett Ingram. Today, I want to share with you the simple, proven way to gain any new skill that you want to gain. And this is something that works for you no matter what the skill is and no matter what area of your life it's in. So there are some skills that we look at maybe in our personal lives that we'd like to have, whether it's, financial management or time planning, or, maybe something like the ability to, run a long distance in a certain amount of time. Whatever the skill is, on a business side, it could be something like being able to manage projects. A lot of the things that we do on a daily basis, or, social media management or whatever, a lot of those kinds of things are ultimately skills. That's really what they are. In order to be able to run a business, it requires a certain set of skills. It in and of itself is a skill, but it requires a certain set of sub-skills in order to be able to do it effectively. Now, to start a business is also a set of skills, and it's a different set of skills to start one than it is to build one or to grow one past a certain point. So each different business, each different challenge that you have requires a different level of skills. And here's the thing. We are dynamic, growing human beings. I mean, it's what we have to do in order to ever achieve anything. Otherwise, we never get beyond where we are. If we always think the way that we always have thought, and we always do things the way that we've always done, we're not going to get results that are any different from any of that. So the only way that we could do that is to improve our abilities, improve our skills in different areas. And so actually, the ability to pick up new skills and learn new skills is a skill. And it's something that you do more, the better you get at it, just like every other skill. And so you want to develop the habit of being able to adapt and add new skills to your toolbox whenever you want to be able to do it. And so I want to share with you a simple process for doing that I've found to be very effective in my life and in my business, because I'm stretched pretty thin. I've got a lot of different things going on, and it's very difficult for me to spend a long time trying to learn something new. Now, if there's a new skill that you want to pick up, and let's just say in the offline world, non-business world, let's just say you want to learn how to cook gourmet food, okay? Well, an obvious way to learn that is to, look online for some kind of training course, right? And then you can jump into that training course and you can go ahead and learn. You could go down to your local culinary institute or wherever else they might be doing cooking classes, and you can learn from them as well. And those are all ways to pick up a new skill. But with business, it tends to be a little bit different because it's a little bit more of a challenge. You can't always find something quite as simple and as easy. And you may not, quite frankly, have the time or the money to be able to invest in some extensive training course. So if you want to learn how to, build your business using social media, since, that seems to be a pretty common thing, especially if your business is in the offline world. A lot of people really have no idea. They know Twitter, they know Facebook, they know Instagram, but they don't really know how to use those to build their presence or build their business. And it is a skill. So here's the process that you go through that will help you do it in a faster and easier way than any other thing. The first thing is to get totally clear on what that skill is. Now, it might sound funny, but it really is true. You may think, well, I want to be able to build a bigger business. Okay, well, that's great, but that's not really one single skill. Again, that is a collection of other skills. So try to get a little more specific. What within your business needs to grow more? What within your business or what within your skill set do you believe you need to grow? So understanding yourself and understanding where you are and being honest with yourself is the first step, and being able to really identify what it is that you want to be able to pick up, what it is that you want to sort of add to your arsenal. Once you've done that, the next step is to do a little bit of research. Now, this is where a lot of people get trapped, because when they want to learn something new, they end up learning about learning, and that's all they ever do. They start researching, they start looking things up. One thing leads to another, and before you know it, they've learned a ton about learning what they need to learn, but they haven't done anything. That isn't what you want to do. You want to do the crash course 10,000 foot view. Do a little bit of research, okay? If you want to become an expert social media marketer, then you want to do a couple of quick searches for how to do social media marketing. Real simple, right? How to become an expert social media marketer. And you'll find videos from guys like Gary Vaynerchuk, and you'll find other things like that online. You're going to find courses, you're going to find stuff you can buy. You don't want to buy any of this stuff. What you want to do is you want to briefly go through each of the resources that you find, each of the advice, and you want to sort of put together your very own inner circle of skill set, or your short list of skills in order to get there. Let's say one person tells you, these are the 4 steps that you need to do. And then this online guide tells you, or report tells you it's these 8 steps. And then this other person, now here's a $1 million clue and a $1 million tip. If you're wondering who to believe in terms of advice, my advice is always go with someone who's already done it. So using the same example, if Gary has advice for you, I would listen to that over some ebook that's written by somebody you have no idea who they are, particularly if they don't have a social media following. But if you know it's someone who's built a social media following and they're telling you how to do it, credibility, okay, that right there is one reason to lean more toward and put more weight into that advice than the other advice. However, again, we're going to roll this our own way. We're not going to listen to one person and say, that's the answer. We're going to look at it and say, okay, how does this adapt to who I am and what I can do? So you want to look at a few different resources. You want to do a quick bit of research. And when I say quick, I mean you should be able to bang this out in a couple hours in an afternoon tops. If it's something simple you want to learn, you should be able to do it a lot faster. But if it's something that you want to learn in a few a big important skill, spend a couple hours, do some research, make a short list, take some notes, make a short list of the things that you think you need to do in order to be able to do it. Now, the next step is going to shock you. This is something that you've probably never heard before, you've probably never done before. Then you got to just start doing it. It's this simple. You take whatever things you think the steps are, and you just start. Put your nose to the grindstone and get moving. Because the best teacher, the best training you're ever going to get is your own training from yourself, from doing the work. The reason is, whatever somebody else's path was to get there isn't going to be the same. If Gary tells you, oh, well, this is what you do on YouTube, that's great. But you know what? When he started YouTube, YouTube was tiny. So he built a massive channel. Now the game has changed. It's different. It's harder. It doesn't mean it can't be done, but you can't do it exactly the way he did it because it's different now. And every other person's going to have the same thing. You're a different person. You have a different skill set. Your experience with the steps is going to be different. But here's the key. When you start working, when you start doing, you're going to start getting feedback. You're going to start getting results, good or bad, little or a lot. You may not get the results you want. You may not get the magnitude of results you want. But when you do that, you're going to get results. And then you adjust your approach. I'm telling you that this is exactly how I built my entire internet business, all through trial and error. I had 0 mentors, 0 coaches, 0 resources, 0 friends in the business. And I learned for a couple of months, and I realized if I don't start doing, I'm never going to figure this out. And I just started doing. And I made a lot of mistakes. And then I started figuring out other things and making distinctions. And I've gotten better and better and better. And now, when I want to pick up a new skill, social media, quite frankly, is a weakness of mine. When I want to learn about it, I put my head down, I spend a couple hours, boom. I create my own little crash course list of skills I need to work on, and I start doing them. If we want to transition this into the offline world, my sons are soccer players. My older son, it's easy for me to look at him and identify exactly what he needs to take his game to the next level. And I've done this for him twice already. I spend the summer working with him 45 minutes a day on the specific things that he needs to work on. I don't work on all this general stuff because I know him as a player. I know what he needs to do. And by the end of the summer, he becomes a better player because I'm able to identify that and help him work on exactly that thing. And that's what you want to do. As you start to work through these tasks and you start to work through, social media. So somebody says you got to set up a Facebook and a Twitter account. You got to start connecting with people. Well, just start doing it. When you start reaching out to people, you start friending them, liking them, retweeting them, whatever, you're going to get some results. You're going to get some of them to follow you. Some of them are not going to follow you. You're going to start to follow some people. Some are going to follow you back. Some are not. You're going to keep doing that, but you're going to make notes about what's working and what's not, and keep refining your approach. If you mark this stuff down as you go, you develop a blueprint, a template for how to become excellent at exactly what you're doing. And it will take you much less time to do that. Now look, I'm not saying coaches aren't great. If you can get a coach and you can afford it, somebody who's awesome, an expert who's already done it, and you want to hire somebody as a personal trainer to help you do the thing, just like it would be if you were in the gym trying to build muscles. If you don't know what you're doing, it's great if you can get a coach to do that. But I'm talking about the bootstrap way of doing it, the entrepreneur's way of doing it, where you don't have a ton of resources. You don't have 5 or 10 grand to plop down and get some expert to come in and help you do this. This is the way that you do it. You make notes of how the progress is going, and you eliminate stuff that isn't working, and you continue to do stuff and add to the stuff that is. And you keep modifying your approach. That is how you develop any new skill you want in your entire life. It's not glamorous, it's not sexy, but it flat out works. And it's about consistency. Do it and do it and do it and do it and do it some more until you get there. You're not going to build 1 million Twitter followers in a week, but you can build 5 in a day, 10 in a day, and then you could get to 100 and 1,000. And when you look back in a year, you'll be amazed at the results you've been able to accomplish. As always, if you have any questions or comments, share them with me at leverageshow.com or tweet them at #LeverageShow. And until next time, make it happen.